Before each conversation, you should have in mind exactly what you want to achieve and what you will say to your ex to achieve it. You should further understand how it will benefit that new parental relationship with your ex and, most importantly, how it will affect your children and make a difference in their lives. The latter, especially if well thought out, will make it difficult for your ex to disagree with, and you should take time to consider any reservations or reasons against your suggestions that your ex could put forward. This will not only allow you to bolster your suggestions and argue in the nicest possible way for the merits of your viewpoint, but may force you to reconsider your opinion before you've even presented it. And this particular process shouldn't only allow for the former. You should also remember that if the subject you wish to discuss is not something you would normally talk about, or is something very recent, that it would not only be fairer, but allow for a calmer, smoother, and more productive exchange of opinions if you afford your parental partner the same amount of thinking time that you have had, even if you need to postpone the conversation to do so. They, in return, should give you the same opportunity, and this could be agreed upon in those early interactions, wherein the rules for conversation are debated and agreed upon. Finally, you may find it personally helpful if you do some mental preparation in the moments just before your interactions, or before that moment when you read and respond to their message. This can ensure that you're centered and emotionally ready for whatever follows, and may take the form of breathing exercises, meditation, or listening to music which helps you to relax. On the other hand, if you ever feel unprepared or in some way unable to cope with your meeting, you should cancel it without hesitation and schedule for a better time. If this is a regular occurrence and you really can't handle these meetings, then it could be evidence of a deeper issue which has to be dealt with. If this is the case, or you feel it might be, then please head over to our resources area where you'll find the kind of medical and mental health support that's further beyond the scope of the breakup plan. If you do want to get back with your ex, then every contact and every interaction with them is a chance for you to show a stronger, calmer, and more considered version of yourself than they may have seen for some time, if ever. It's also, by extension, a chance for you to take back control of the situation in which you find yourself, as well as your life in general. And this holds true regardless of what you want from your ex and regardless of who you're talking to. Ideally, then, your overall communication style should be assertive, which is authentic, open, and forthright, and is further characterized by the ability to verbalize your thoughts and opinions without ignoring or denigrating the suggestions and opinions of others. This is in contrast to aggressive communication, which is characterized by a loud and forceful proclamation of one's own views that is often at the expense and degradation of the views of others, and passive communication, which has its place in negotiations but is often misused or overused, and is characterized by the tendency to place the wants and needs of others above your own. Assertive communication goes hand in hand with confident communication, and confident people, whether men or women, will stand or sit up straight with their chin up, shoulders back, chest pushed forward a little, and legs at shoulder width apart where possible. Also, since your mood and physiology are inextricably linked, you should hold yourself this way even if you're writing an email or a text message and the other person can't see you. Doing so will make it more likely that your thoughts and therefore your communication will emanate from a place of confidence, assertiveness, and strength. The next thing to be aware of is your proximity, as too close can be overly intimate or unnecessarily intimidating, and too far away can come across as passive, unconfident, and fearful. A good distance, if standing, is around 3 feet away, and this is about the same distance that you'll be from each other if you sit on opposite sides of a table. Meanwhile, your eye contact, especially at these distances, should be of the soft and attentive variety with minimal blinking, and a focus on the speaker around 60 to 70% of the time in Western cultures. Any less can make you seem uninterested in what they're saying, and any more can come across as aggressive or flirty, depending on the rest of your body language. As for gesticulation, your arms and hands should likewise be loose and relaxed, and while all of them can be used to embellish and emphasize what you're saying, a display of open palms can show to your conversation partner that you're honest with nothing to hide. You especially shouldn't clench them, since you'll come across as aggressive in almost every situation. Speak up. If you want people to listen to you, you'll have to speak like you want to be heard. One way you can achieve this is speak loudly enough without shouting that a person standing directly behind them would hear every word you're saying. Then, if needed, as indicated by their reaction, reduce the volume from there. Project yourself. Holding good posture is also important for voice projection, but to speak with a deeper and more resonant tone that's both confident and authoritative, you'll need to get your breathing right as well. In this respect, diaphragmatic breathing, where you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth while fully engaging your stomach, abdominal muscles, and diaphragm, will not only achieve these things, but enable you to communicate exactly as you breathe, calmly, deliberately, and always in control. Show conviction. To communicate confidently, you need to show conviction in what you're saying. This means you need to lose those caveats such as, I'm no expert, but, and those tentative lead-ins such as, I guess that, plus anything else which makes it sound like you're anything but absolutely certain about the things that you're saying. Because if you don't seem convinced, it's going to be a lot more difficult to convince other people and to achieve what you want to achieve. This is another thing that's equally important in your written communications. Eradicate fillers. Fillers are those and type noises that we make between sentences. They're basically stopgaps that allow us a bit of thinking time and avoid a pause in the conversation, which is something many of us fear. The thing is, when you use those fillers, you come across as unsure and unconfident about what you're saying. It's for this reason, and an even better one which we'll get to in a moment, that you really need to eradicate them. Watch your intonation. It would be a shame to get so far and then ruin it at the end. But that's what you're doing if your voice is rising up on the final word of every sentence. If you're not actually asking a question, then it sounds like you're not sure about what you're saying, or you're waiting to be corrected on it, both of which are hardly showing confidence. If anything, you should lower your voice at the end of each sentence, or at least keep it neutral. Slow down. When you speak too quickly, It gives people the impression that you're nervous, or you feel like you won't have their attention for very long. Confident people hardly ever sound nervous, and they know that others will listen to them for as long as they carry on talking. Enunciate. Confident people are also expecting that others will wait for them, and so they speak slow enough and deliberate enough that people are not only able to hear and understand their every word, but may even start to hang on them. According to research, a good benchmark for this is 190 words per minute. But anything slow enough that you could recite a phone number and you wouldn't be asked to repeat yourself will be more than just fine. Emphasize. When you communicate with confidence, every word you say will carry an importance. But you should practice putting emphasis on those key words, the ones you want to linger, both in the air and in their mind. Don't be afraid of pauses. Far from meaning you have nothing left to say, a well-timed pause will communicate that the words which follow have been thought out, measured, and considered. A well-timed pause will also add drama, create suspense, and draw people in. Practice makes perfect. To practice the things you've learned here, we suggest that you take out your phone and record yourself, either reading from a book, a magazine, or somewhere on the internet, and continue to do so as you improve in each area. You should additionally visualize what your confident conversations will look like and sound like, as this will prepare you for actually having them.